Hello lovelies, and welcome back to this Chatty Get Ready With Me series here on Royal Caribbean's Grandeur of the Seas ship. We are having a great week. We are getting close to the end of our trip, but we still have a couple of fun-filled days left. So I'm so excited to share a little bit about yesterday and to just go ahead and share a little bit of what we've got going on today. Today is day 6 of our cruise, and it is Thursday, August 14th. So we are really looking forward to a fun-filled day again, and I can't wait to share just some pictures and videos and memories from the trip with you. So come along with me and let's make up the rules. So yesterday we started out our excursion in Bimini in the Bahamas, and so we went and we grabbed some breakfast in the Windjammer, and then we went out for our excursion, and it was super easy and super quick to find our meeting location. And the excursion that we were doing was a paint by the sea excursion. So we just got off right there in the port, and they had some little tents outside that you could go and you could find your meeting place. And then it was just kind of over a long bridge that we had to just cross over to get to where we were actually having the painting by the sea. And so we went ahead and walked across that bridge, and they said it was about a 6-minute walk, so it was a decent length bridge. But we got over there and found our meeting place on the other side, and it was right there on the water, right on the beach, and we were able to go and meet with our instructor. And it was not a very big group that was in the painting. I think there were probably less than 10 of us. So we had some chairs lined up, and there were some easels in front of each chair. And then there was a cup with 2 paintbrushes and some water. And then they brought over paper plates that had all of the paint that you would need on them. Went ahead and found a couple of seats. We were able to sit just the 2 of us together, and then there was a little bit of room in between us and the other guests. And we got there just a little bit early, so we just found a spot and kind of got ourselves settled in. It was a little breezy and a little windy, which was nice because the sun was beating pretty good. But it was a little hard to kind of keep your easel up, to hold your paint and your cup with your paintbrushes and everything, make sure that nothing was going to fall over or blow over. But we were just spent a little bit of time just trying to get everything situated, and thankfully the easels that they had little kind of hooks on them that you could sort of wedge your canvas into. And then we also would put the top corner of the canvas behind a part of the easel, so it was kind of holding it more secure. At one point before we did all of that, I accidentally dropped my canvas right into my paint, so I got just a little bit of paint on the top corner, but thankfully it fell in one of the blues that I was going to use, so it just went right into what I was painting anyway, so it wasn't too big of a deal. We were able to resolve that issue pretty easily. And so we were able to paint that beachscape while we were out there on the beach. So it was really pretty. It was just a great backdrop for the painting that we were going to do. And so once it was time for the excursion to begin, our instructor, we had a lady out there that she, what she would do is she would just kind of go down the row of our chairs, and she would just individually kind of show everybody the next step. So it took a couple of minutes to kind of get going because she was spending a few minutes with each group. But once you really started getting the next step, she was able to spend a little more time with everybody while we were all working on something. So I felt like the flow was really good. Dylan and I, we really enjoy doing painting with a twist, but we typically feel like they go really fast and it's hard to kind of keep up with everything that they're doing, and it's not as individualized because they're usually just kind of doing it up in the front of the room for the entire group, or maybe even on a projector. So usually it's a little harder to keep up for us. I'm usually kind of a slower painter. I'm a little more meticulous with it. So definitely we enjoyed the slowness of the excursion yesterday. We didn't feel rushed at all. We felt like we had plenty of time to be able to do things that we wanted, to be able to just have the time to paint and make everything exactly the way that we wanted our paintings to look. So that was really nice. And our instructor, she was great. She was really nice and very helpful. And so she had her canvas that she was walking around with, and she was adding to it as we were going through the different steps. So she would bring it over and let us individually up close and personal look at it, and she would show us exactly what the next steps were. And the steps were very simple and very clear and easy to follow, so we were able to follow along really well, and we were both very happy with how our paintings turned out in the end. And one of the really cool parts of this excursion and the painting by the sea is, as you are painting, you go ahead and you start and you paint your sky and you paint the water. And then once you get to the sand in your painting, what they do is the instructor comes around with a cup of glue and a paintbrush, and she takes your canvas and paints glue all where the sand should be. And then she actually picks up actual sand from the beach in Bimini and puts it onto your canvas, so that completes the sand on your piece of art. So it's really cool. It gives it a nice texture, and you get to take a little bit of the beach home with you from your excursion. So we really thought that was super cool, and was just really a great memento to be able to take from this trip. So we painted the sky, we painted the water, we added the sand, and then the last step was to paint a palm tree. And she told us at the beginning that usually that's the hardest part for people, because there's just a lot more steps to it. But she went very slowly and was very clear in her instructions, and it made it very easy to follow. And we really enjoyed getting to paint the palm trees, and we were both very pleased with how our paintings turned out. And so it was really cool, because once we finished painting our artworks, we were able to take those home with us. It was really fun to be able to take some pictures while we were there on the beach. And so I took a picture standing out in the water. I took my shoes off and got in the water and held my canvas up. And then we actually got some picture with some palm trees that were right beside us while we were painting, which was really cool, because as we were painting the palm trees on our canvases, we could just look over at actual palm trees as some inspiration to kind of help us to decide how it should look. So that was really neat, and we really enjoyed getting to just be immersed in the environment that we were painting, and really get to enjoy the beautiful scenery, the nice cool Caribbean breeze. And it was just such a nice experience. It was very relaxing, very fun, no stress about it at all. So we really enjoyed that, and we were very grateful when we got done that neither one of us had dropped our paint on our clothes. We were nice and clean, and we actually had taken a travel pack of wet ones with us, and so any paint that we had on our hands, we were able to clean that off really easily. So we definitely were grateful to have those with us on this trip, and I definitely would recommend bringing some wet ones with you when you're traveling on a cruise. They've been good when we put sunscreen on, to just kind of be able to clean that sticky feeling off our hands, to be able to take the paint off our hands, and then just other times if we just kind of touch something sticky somewhere or something like that. They've been a great investment for this particular trip, so definitely would recommend that on your packing list for any cruises that you might go on. So once we finished up with our paint by the sea, we grabbed a couple of pictures over by the beach, and then we were pretty done. We were just right there in the port, so there wasn't a whole lot to do outside of just the excursions that were already booked and planned. So we felt like we got to see the water, we got to enjoy the time out there. And so we decided to go ahead and just come back over to the ship, and it was a little bit later in the afternoon and getting close to lunchtime anyway. So we came back, took some showers, freshened up, and then we went to lunch in the Windjammer and had a really good lunch and a beautiful view. The water was so bright and sparkling, and it was just absolutely gorgeous just looking out the window. We got seats right by the window, so just looking out and just seeing the beautiful Bimini waters outside and getting to enjoy a delicious lunch. So we really enjoy getting to do that. And we definitely feel like we've been pretty busy on this cruise, and we really wanted to have a little bit of time just to slow down and relax and get some rest. We've been getting up pretty early every morning for our excursions, and as fun as it's been, it has been kind of exhausting. We're both pretty tired, and so after we had lunch, we decided to just come back to our cabin and just have some time to just kind of lay down and rest. We both took this little afternoon nap, so that was really nice just to have some time just to enjoy in the cabin and just time to spend together. So we enjoyed doing that, and then after that we got up and it was about time to get ready for dinner. So we went ahead and did that, and the dinner last night was a taste of Italy, so we were really excited for that. We both love Italian food. For the appetizers, they had delicious minestrone soup, which I love minestrone soup. It's what I typically get as an appetizer at Italian restaurants, so we both got that and we really enjoyed it. And then they also had some fried arancini, which were little balls of rice that were fried with some mushrooms in them and some marinara sauce and a little bit of spinach as a bed underneath them. And it was really good. They had a really good flavor. The marinara complemented it really well, so we really enjoyed that. And then for our main courses, Dylan ordered the lasagna, and it was really good. It was different than a typical lasagna, but it was really tasty. And then he also ordered the grilled chicken, which he had gotten on another night and really enjoyed. Unfortunately, he said it wasn't as good as the first night, but it was still good. And then I ordered a mushroom risotto, and that was really good. It had a nice kind of garlicky flavor to it. And then for my main course, I got the chicken parmesan, and it was really good. It wasn't the best chicken parmesan I've ever had. It was a little overdone on the edges, but the flavor of it was really good. The spaghetti with it was good. So we definitely really enjoyed our Italian meal. And then for our dessert, Dylan got a berry and oat bar. And then I got a chocolate hazelnut cake, an Italian chocolate hazelnut cake, and it was really good. It was very thick, very rich, but they had some vanilla ice cream and some whipped cream with it, so that definitely helped to kind of lighten it. And then one of their royal favorites that they've had, I think, every night of the cruise that I was intrigued by and wanted to try was an artisan cheese platter. And so it had some crackers, a little bit of fruit, some cheese, and some nuts on it. So we decided to get one of those just to kind of snack on and try. It was a little kind of fancy for my taste, and the cheeses were not my favorite. So I don't know that I would order that again, but it was still good, and it was fun to be able to try something new and something different. And then after dinner, we went over to the Palladium Theater for their headliner show that they were going to have. It was a gentleman who works in Las Vegas. He has a headliner show there, and his name is Chad Chesmore. He is kind of a hybrid between a magician and a comedian, and so we were really interested in seeing what that show was going to be like. The singer previously in the week that we got to see, Laura Wright, he is actually her husband, so that was really cool that they got to be on the same ship together, both headliners for different shows, and to be able to see both of their performances and get to see just both of their personalities and how they both just kind of compare to one another. So we thought they both were excellent. We really enjoyed both of their shows, and his show was it was a lot of fun. It was definitely geared, I think, a little bit more towards children. It definitely had a lot of funny, just kind of silly gags and jokes throughout, but he definitely has a really big personality, and he is very skilled at what he does. A lot of the tricks that he would do, he'd kind of do them in a way that sort of looked like he wasn't really able to do the trick, but then all of a sudden at the end he'd do something really cool and really quick, and it was very, very cool and very just mesmerizing to watch. He had a lot of different acts that he did, a lot of different tricks that he did, and at the end of every trick he had just kind of something that he taught us at the beginning that he wanted us to do throughout the show.
And that's the end of that trick. But we have another one?
Yeah, I caught that on camera at one point. I filmed it. I just thought that was really cute that he had us kind of participate throughout the entire show. So we really enjoyed just seeing that show and just enjoying the acts and the tricks that he did. And definitely his last trick was really cool. He did a trick with some tubes and then some bottles of wine and some wine glasses. And he was able to just multiply the bottles of glasses. All of a sudden he had an entire table full of them, and was able to switch around the bottles and the glasses between the tubes. So it was really cool. It was a great way to end the show, and definitely a lot of fun. So we really enjoyed that show, and just getting to see an act that we maybe otherwise wouldn't get to see. So that's been a really cool aspect of this particular cruise, as we've gotten to see some really neat shows and different performances. So we've really enjoyed all of the shows that we've seen, and we're looking forward to the last couple over the next couple of nights as well. And then after we watched the show last night, they ended up announcing during the show that the next activity they were going to have was going to be in the main central area in the Centrum. And it was going to be sort of like Dancing with the Stars, but it was called Dancing with the Stripes. So it was some of the officers from the ship that were going to be dancing with different guests from the ship as well. And so it was based on a raffle system. So if you wanted to participate, you could get just a raffle ticket and put it into one of two jars. They had one for men and one for women. And so you could put your ticket in there, and then what happened was they had 6 different officers from the ship. They had 3 men and 3 women come to participate in the activity, and then each one of them either pulled a man's ticket if it was a woman pulling, or a woman's ticket if it was a man pulling, and they were able to pull the number for the guest who was going to be their partner for the activity. And so they went through and each picked out their partner, and their partner went up on the dance floor with them. And so they had 3 of the staff members from the ship that were going to be the judges for the activity. And so they had chairs up on the stairs that they could watch down over the dance floor and see all the different dances and be able to provide their feedback and their judging on that. And so it was a lot of fun. So the host of the show, he would go through and he would read out the different kinds of dances. So he would give just a little description of what the dance was, and then he would announce which dance it was. And so once he announced what it was, then they started some music that went along with that dance. And the different contestants would have to dance with their partner and try to match that dance style. And they, of course, didn't have any time to practice or any training, so it was a lot of fun just to kind of see what they came up with on their own and what they were able to do together. They had a lot of different dance styles. They did the tango, the waltz, they did open Gangnam style, they did the ballet, they did Bollywood. So they did a lot of different types of dance, and it was funny to kind of see the range of the different types of dance and just their different interpretations of each one. Oh, and interpretive dance, that was another kind of funny one that they had. So I was catching a little bit of footage of some of the dances that they did, and just some of the different moves that they were coming up with. A lot of the guests from the ship who were the contestants, they were definitely hams. They had a lot of personality and were really very good at what they were doing. And thankfully they had some water bottles up on the stage that the contestants and the staff could drink as well, because it was pretty warm in there and you could tell they were definitely getting into it, so needed to stop and have some time to hydrate as well. So as they were going through, they would do a couple of dances for each round, and then the judges would deliberate and they would decide 2 couples that they wanted to put in the running for elimination. And then once they had those couples chosen, they would go up to the front, and the host of the show would ask the audience to participate and decide which couple they wanted to keep in the competition, and so that was based on just shouts and applause. And so they would name each numbered couple, and then we would all cheer and shout for the couple that we wanted to save. And I think every single round, the couple that Dylan and I were cheering for was the one that ended up getting saved. So they were definitely pretty good, but all the couples did a great job. They were excellent at what they were doing, and so it was just a lot of fun. It was just a fun, silly event, and just a great activity. There were a lot of people in the Centrum. We were on the deck 5, which the actual dance was taking place on deck 4 in the middle, and we were on deck 5 looking down over the balcony. But we could see people all the way around the balconies, or at least 3 or 4 levels above where they were having the actual dancing. So there were a lot of people there. All the chairs were taken. Dylan and I ended up standing to watch it, and we really had just a great time. It was a really fun event, and something that if we hadn't gone to the headliner show and hadn't heard our cruise director Talita tell us that they were going to have that event, I don't think I was planning to go to that one. So I was glad she mentioned it and told us about it, and it was a lot of fun to go to that one. So we were really excited that by the end of the activity, the couple that won was one that we were really rooting for and cheering for, and we thought that they did an excellent job, and definitely they deserved to win. So that was a lot of fun. And then once that was done, we popped over to the South Pacific Lounge, and they were having another activity in there that was similar to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but it was called Who Wants to Be a Caribbeanaire. I'm not sure exactly how to say it, but it was just kind of a fun little game show activity that they were having. And so we went, and they would choose one contestant at a time to go up and to play the activity. And so they had 4 questions per participant, and they had a PowerPoint up on the screen that they could look at that had the questions and the options for the answers. There were 4 answer choices per question, and for each round they had a little Royal Caribbean swag as a prize. So things like a keychain, a highlighter, I think it was just like a little bottle opener, and then a medal that it had the Royal Caribbean logo on the medal. And so they did several different rounds with different contestants. I think there ended up being 4 total. And as they went through, they were just answer the questions, and then they had 3 lifelines each. So they had a 50-50, which if they chose that would eliminate 2 out of the 4 answer choices to make it a little bit easier. And they had a ask the audience, so they could ask the audience and everyone would shout out the answer that we thought, and they could decide if they agreed or not with the audience and go ahead and select that answer. And then the last one was a phone a friend, which that one was kind of funny because they didn't necessarily have to phone a friend of theirs or someone that was on the cruise with them. You could just kind of pick one person from the audience that you wanted to phone a friend to. And there was one lady that was in the audience that she was very, very much like, oh, me, I know the answer to this. And so I think every single contestant that did the phone the friend ended up phoning her. And so she was a friend to all. And so that was pretty funny. And so something that really shocked us, but it was really, really cute that they did, is when they did the phone the friend, they would have a phone ringtone playing, and then they had a really big inflatable phone that they pulled out, and they would run it over, and so they had to kind of talk to each other, the contestant and the lady on the phone. They had to talk to each other like she was actually on the phone with them. So it was pretty funny, and so we definitely got a chuckle out of that, just being able to see the different lifelines that they had and the different questions and how they answered them. So we definitely really enjoyed that activity, and we enjoyed it so much that on the last round, I asked Dylan if he wanted to go up, and he said okay, and so he raised his hand and he actually got picked. And so I filmed the entire thing that he was when he was up there, and he did a great job. He was able to use all the lifelines, he was able to answer all the questions, and so he got all the little prizes as he was going through. Actually, everybody that participated won all of the prizes. They made it all the way through and won their rounds. So it was fun that some of the questions were pretty tricky and challenging, but it wasn't too hard to a point where it was frustrating, where you couldn't win. Everybody that participated used their lifelines and was able to make it through. So it was a lot of fun. We were not sure exactly what the activity would be when we went in there, but it was a great time. We both really enjoyed that, and so that was a fun time, and I was glad Dylan kind of got to participate in a fun event and really get to just kind of be a part of that. So we had a great time last night, just going to the different activities and playing some different games, and just really getting to participate in things that were taking place on the ship. So that was a lot of fun, and we really just had a great time. And then once we finished with those game shows, we decided that we wanted to go back up to the pool deck, and we wanted to get into one of the hot tubs again. We did that earlier in the week, and it was really nice and really relaxing, so we decided to do that again as well. So we went up to the solarium, which is the adults only section on the pool deck, and so we found a hot tub up there, and there was a couple in one of them, so we just went ahead and hopped in that one with them, and they left pretty soon after we got there, and so we had the hot tub to ourselves for most of the time that we were there, which was really nice. It was very relaxing. Even though I've been wearing sunscreen on the trip, it's very intense sun here in the Caribbean, and I think some of it may have washed off when we were in the water at one point, and I've gotten a little bit of a sunburn on my shoulder. So being in the hot tub was very soothing. It was really nice, so we definitely enjoy getting to do that. And then once we finished in the hot tub, we decided to come back to our room and go ahead and get ready for bed at that point, get ready for this morning and our next excursion. So we just had a nice time. It was very relaxing. It was very fun yesterday, and we just had a great time in Bimini and a great time aboard the ship, and just having some time just to kind of slow down a little bit and relax and just enjoy the time that we have here, because we definitely, like I said, feel like we've been kind of going and really wanted to have an opportunity just to slow down and just really enjoy our time. And we only have a couple days left on our cruise, so we really want to take advantage of the time that we have, get some rest, and just enjoy just being on the cruise. So we really have been just having a great time, really enjoying ourselves a lot, and are very grateful for the opportunity to come on this trip and the opportunity to come on a bit of a longer cruise. We are on a 7-night cruise. I've been on a couple of different cruises, some longer ones and a shorter one, and definitely if it's maybe 4 nights or shorter, it definitely goes by in a blink. You hardly even know that you went on the trip. So being able to go on a 7-night cruise, it definitely doesn't feel like it just flew by. We still at this point have 2 days left, so just having that time and that just the length of the cruise has been just really nice, and definitely something that we've just been savoring and enjoying a lot. So definitely, if you have never been on a cruise, I would highly recommend them. And I've been on Disney cruises, and I've been now on a Royal Caribbean, and I think they are both great. They are pretty different from each other. They definitely are different cruise lines. They have different things to offer. So definitely doing your research and just seeing what they have available and what appeals to you and to your family, or you and your spouse, or whoever you would want to travel with, and just being able to see what works best for you and what would be most appealing for you. But definitely, I think you can't go wrong with either one of these. I think they're great. Definitely with the Grandeur of the Seas being their oldest and their smallest ship, I think there's a lot less to do here than maybe some of their larger and newer cruise ships. So definitely just seeing which ship would work for you. But for us, this one has been great. I've had a lot to do. We've had a lot to be able to choose from without feeling just completely overwhelmed. And also, we are not as interested in maybe some of the bigger, more thrilling things that they have on some of their other larger ships. So definitely the Grandeur of the Seas has been really good for us and our personalities and our just what we were looking for in our cruise. So definitely if you're kind of a slower speed kind of person, if you just kind of want something just kind of fun and relaxing to do, I would highly recommend the Grandeur of the Seas. I think the ship is beautiful. The just the carpeting and the architecture, the structure, the decorations and everything they have around the ship are very pretty. They're very classy, definitely representative of just a beautiful cruise ship. So I really would recommend this one. And definitely the trip that we've gone on, going to the Bahamas and going to Key West, Florida, this has been a really good itinerary. We've really enjoyed the places that we've gotten to visit, and the excursions that we've gone on. So I would highly recommend this trip if this is something you're interested in. I think it's a great one. And we are looking forward to our last couple of days. Today is day 6, and we are actually in port already in Key West, Florida. And we went this morning. We had to do some immigration check-in so that because we're coming back into the United States from being out of the country. So everybody had to go this morning, whether you were getting off the ship or not, and do an immigration check-in. And so it was a pretty easy process because we are getting off the ship today and we do have an excursion. We ended up going into the Palladium Theater, and they split everybody up based on the excursion that you're doing. And then they had everybody line up based on your group, and we all went into the main dining room. And when we went in there, we were able to go in and just get our sea passes, our room keys scanned, so that they knew everybody had checked in. We went and had our driver's licenses checked just to prove our American citizenship. And then as we were leaving the dining room, they went ahead and punched holes into our CPass cards. That way they have the documentation and the proof that we have gone through that immigration check-in. So it was a very easy process. There were a lot of people going through all at one time, but it was very quick, very easy, and we really appreciate them being able to just go ahead and move everybody along in that process. So we are back officially in the United States and ready for our last day with an excursion and out of port. We are finishing up getting ready for today, and then we are gonna hop over to the Windjammer here in just a few minutes and grab some breakfast, and then we will be heading out for our excursion. And today we are going on a glass bottom boat tour here in Key West, Florida, so we are super excited for that and excited just to see what sea life we might be able to see. And then when we get back on the ship, we're going to try to take it easy today, see if there's just any other activities that we want to do here on board, and then just enjoy and relax, enjoy our afternoon. And then the dinner tonight is going to be a formal night, and so we're really excited for the royal night and just to try some delicious foods here in the dining room on board. And then looking forward especially to the show taking place tonight. It is going to be a performance for the Tango Buenos Aires, and so we're really excited just to go and see that. That's one that we've really been looking forward to. So we're really excited for another Dress Your Best, and just to be able to just enjoy the different theme nights that they have and really enjoy the time on our ship. So we are getting ready, we're finishing up, so I'm gonna just throw on some jewelry and get ready for today, and then I'll close out the video, and then we're gonna head out for our excursion here in Key West. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you really enjoyed hanging out with me today as we've been getting ready for our excursion here in Key West, Florida. I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Have you been to Key West? And if you have, what did you do here? What was your favorite part? I'd love to hear more about your experience. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to see more makeup tutorials and the last few days of our adventures here on Royal Caribbean, Grandeur of the Seas, then please hit the subscribe button and also hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when we post the remaining videos for this series. Until next time, let's be kind to each other, beautiful to ourselves, and never afraid to make up the rules.